But I did a movie with the dude, and he was on some other whatever, and we got into it. Then he ran up and caught me, and then he slammed my head down on the car, and one of them times he got a little excited, and he, instead of him slamming me down once, he slammed me down twice. And I wasn't ready for it because I had my hands behind my head, and he pushed my face into the hood of a car. Wow. Boom! And so we had words, and I told him, I'm gonna f you up, man. And then he was like, I don't feel pain, and we went through this whole thing. And
what are some of your memorable stories from filming Colors? Because I think that's when I got introduced to you as an actor.
Well,
as well.
there's a lot of memorable stories from that. And, this is a podcast, and I always get caught telling this story. And, I want to make it clear, first and foremost, that, Sean Penn is probably one of the quintessential actors in this business.
That's right.
But I did a movie with the dude, and, he was on some other whatever, and we got into it. And that was a memory for me, we got into it.
I was going to say, that fight scene, that shit look almost real.
But you know what? It wasn't, though. The thing is that, okay, so we did a scene in the alleyway. I had to run.
Yep.
He wanted it to look real. And I told them, I said, man, you got me in jeans and some tennis shoes. And this dude is wearing a police uniform with a police belt, a gun, walkie-talkie, bulletproof vest, boots. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I take off running down that alley and he got to get out the car.
Yeah, you're not going to catch me. Yeah.
I'm going to be gone before before the door closes. I'm going to be gone. He going to open the door and I'm going to be down the block.
Right.
And they didn't believe me. So they said, let's just do it and see what happened. And so the first one, he opened the door. He took 2 steps, and I was over the fence that I was supposed to be, that was like 40 yards down there. Because I had on some tennis shoes. I was 25 years old. I probably ran a 4.5 40 at the time.
Huh? You had on Adidas outfit or something?
Sweat. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, seriously, I fucking ran a 4.5 40 when I was in high school. Like, dude, you're not catching me. Even if you had on some track shoes, you're not catching me. You would have to be somebody that was, seriously athletic. You're not going to catch me.
Right.
I'll run, cut, and catch a football and still outrun you. Or I will let you stand right here and hold my arm, yank away from you, and you're not going to catch me.
Right.
You're not going to catch me getting. So anyway, we did it, and he got frustrated. So finally, we decided that, like 6 feet from the fence, I would jump and land on the fence as opposed to hitting the fence and flipping over like we did when we was kids. Right. You know how we used to jump fences.
Exactly.
Zoom. It didn't stop nothing. You just hit the fence and went over it, right? So I jumped on the fence, landed on it, and then he ran up and caught me, and then, he slammed my head down on the car, and one of them times he got a little excited, and he, instead of him slamming me down once, he slammed me down twice. And I wasn't ready for it because I had my hands behind my head, and he pushed my face into the hood of a car. Wow. Boom! And so we had words, and I told him, I'm gonna f you up, man. And then he was like, I don't feel pain, and we went through this whole thing, and so we had this little tiff we had a scene in the kitchen where we had to fight.
Yep.
And I was supposed to hit him with this frying pan. But they cut that part, and they only let me knock the gun out of his hand with the frying pan because that little thing we had, it was kind of touchy.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm an actor.
Right.
You don't get to abuse me, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then he was like, whatever, let's we'll see. And I was like, okay, there's a scene where I hit you with a frying pan. We're going to see how that work. You know what I'm saying? No, seriously, we did. It was kind of touchy. And so then when it came time to do it, they took it out, and I only knocked the gun out of his hand with the frying pan, and then we did a whole thing. But then the choreographer came, and he told me something about, he switched the choreography, and I was like, okay, well, make sure you tell Sean, because, at that point, it was later on in the movie, and, we I'm going to get you, I don't feel pain. I'm going to get you, I don't feel pain. Method. He was real method, Sean. Great actor, but method. And so, we going back and forth, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But by that time, it wasn't, anything serious. We wasn't, I wasn't finna do nothing to this dude.
Where do you think that energy from him was coming from?
I think Because he's method.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
You want to talk about method? That's a method actor.
Okay.
You know?
Did
as
you
can
guys,
see.
after everything wrapped, did y'all ever get a chance to run into each other and like laugh about it?
We had a
and
little
powwow?
party. We
Yeah.
went, you know, kind of hung out a little bit at this place called On the Rocks once. I think his dad might have been there that day. I know Harry Dean Stanton might have been there that day. You know, we was up there having a little, you know, it was only a few people up there. It's kind of, you know the Roxy?
Yep.
Okay, so next to the Roxy, there's a
Sunset.
door.
Yep.
And you can go upstairs.
Okay.
There's a bar up there. A lot of people don't know about it, but there's a bar up there. A couple little private hideaway rooms where you got to crawl behind a, you know, like hidden rooms. You like you open a thing, you got to crawl in, and it's got lounged out. You know, you got to be down here because the roof right there. Yeah. And you, seriously, you know, you lounging in that motherfucker. It's cool. You know, whatever. I used to party a lot when I was in Hollywood. But I guess it's not hidden anymore. I just told the world. But, you know, but that shit was there. So we was up there and we danced and had fun, you know, and it was cool, you know. And he invited me to a reading he had one time, and I think Tom Cruise was there and some other people was there, you know. So that was
Were you in the know of the L.A. gangs and the Bloods and Crips when you did that?
When I did Colors?
Yeah.
No.
So
I
that was
wasn't
all
in the
new
know.
to you.
That was. I mean.
Did you research? Did you do your research, or you just went with the script and you just pulled what you knew from the streets?
Yeah, well, see, because, okay,
Richmond.
so back up. How I got the job, that was a whole thing in itself. I met a guy who wrote the script. Michael Schiffer wrote Colors. He was at an agency party, and I was at the agency party, and I had my friend Jeff with me, and we were at the agency party. And he saw us, and he said, man, y'all look like y'all could be in my movie. Right? And we were like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah. You know, Hollywood talk.
Hollywood, yeah.
Whatever. But then it came up. And it was like, oh, he wasn't bullshitting. They're auditioning for Colors. So my agents was like, they don't want any actors. That's what they said. We're not hiring any actors. We only want real gang members. So I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I went down there in my black leather blazer with my fucking creased 501s, like we used to dress in Richmond, right? Sewed in creases.
Yeah.
With the Stacey Adams on, bro. You feel me? I went down there with my little, I went down there with the rich on them, right? And I walked in there and I was like, I want to audition for this thing. And so they let me audition. And I went in there and I auditioned for the role. And this is a true story. I auditioned for the part. And Sean Penn's in the room. Dennis Hopper's behind the desk. Sean's over there sitting in the chair backwards, and I do my thing, and then Dennis goes, he turns to Sean, what do you think, man? And Sean's like, yeah, that's cool, he's cool, that's cool, you know, and he like that, right? And then, you know, Dennis goes, yeah, man, you good, you know, we like you. And then I was like, but I brought my friend with me. And they was like, what? I was like, I brought my friend with me. Where he at? I said, he's sitting out now. He's sitting out there. And they were like, go get him. So I went and got my boy Jeff Thorne, right? I brought him with me, right? We were living together at the time. And Jeff is, for lack of a better story, he published a book at 13 or 14. Okay. He wasn't no gang member.
Right.
At all. Right. But he ended up playing the dude that Rocket took the car from. I don't know if you remember the movie. Rocket took his van.
Yes.
Right? Lewis. He ended up playing Lewis.
The starter coat on.
The starter jacket with the hat turned
and they was tricking him into talking about the chick.
Yeah. Him and Spanky.
Yeah.
Him, the little round dude he was with, his name was Spanky.
Yep.
Anyway, so I went out there and I got him and I brought him in the room. And then they talked to him for a little bit and then went back and forth a little bit. And then they was like, well, I was like, man, if he ain't doing it, I ain't doing it.
Wow.
This is my third part I ever had. Like, I had a couple auditions, but I'm sitting there telling Sean Penn and Dennis Hopper that if you ain't putting my friend in your movie, I'm not going to be in your movie.
Right.
And then Dennis went, what? I was like, come on, man. And then Dennis, he looked at Sean, what do you think? He's like, yeah, man, we can do it. We can find something. And we didn't even know what parts we got. But they said, okay, y'all going to be in the movie. Right? And we leave. And then Lauren Lloyd calls my agent. She was the casting director at the time. She calls my agent. And she says, Glenn, is there anybody else, you know, you think you could that would be right for this movie. And I was with Writers and Artists at the time, and my boy Bruce Beatty was with Writers and Artists, and then my boy Don Cheadle was with another agency. And I told her, I said, call this agency, ask for Don Cheadle, right? And then I sent Bruce down there, and they got Don, and Don got the role of Rocket. And Bruce played the other dude out in the 13th Street gang. He was the other black dude besides Graham Bush.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, yeah. So it was Bruce and Don, Jeff, and I. Don, Bruce, and Jeff all went to Cal Arts, right? They graduated together. And see, now I'm backing up because when I first came to LA, I told you I got in my car and I drove down here, right? I worked at Cal Arts. I was the shop tech. I ran the Wonder Shop. I had a job. I was making like $35,000 a year in 1985.
Wow.
Don, Bruce, and Jeff, I signed all their work study papers so they could get their grant money. They had to come into the shop, to work, do stage construction and all that shit to get I forgot what it was called, but I used to do the same thing when I was in college. And then when they left and went off into the world, I left and went with them.